Hello, hello? Is this thing on? Okay, good. So, what's the deal with cell phones? Like they're all consuming when it comes to our youth. I told my son I was coming home with apples, and he was mad when he realized I wasn't talking about new phones. And you'd think after that I wouldn't be surprised by phones anymore, but even my cat's calling me. Not to mention this other time with my son. I had a question at dinner, and instead of telling me his response, he texted it to me. So with that in mind, who the cell is gonna watch a video about cell phones in video games have always felt off. Obviously game characters would have phones, but it never quite feels normal, with most of the typical phone features like phone calls and texts relying on the main story to such a high degree that after all is said and done story-wise, it's a little sad looking through all your old texts knowing that you're never getting another message from these characters again. Though that's irrelevant because of how much immersion is gained by being able to ruin my character's neck posture at any moment. The phones I'm covering all will fall into three classifications. We have menu phones, which are the most common of the three, item phones, which are phones that usually have a single use or purpose, and the last type is your phone. Starting with menu phones, one of the most iconic examples of them is GTA 5's phones. First off, the fact that each phone is a parody of one phone brand was great, with Trevor and Franklin's phones being a parody of the Windows Phone and Android phone respectively, and Michael's phone, the iFruit, obviously parodying the Pear phone from iCarly and Victorious. Though, the brand parodies are just the start of their function. Your phone can detonate explosives, call for vehicles, customize its menu, and its best feature, the ability to browse the web. This built-in browser is mainly for buying most of the luxury items, but the fact that devs made a bunch of random sites on top of that for players to browse is the attention to detail that makes a menu phone feel authentic and true to life. Like without the baby name generator website, my immersion with this phone would be completely broken. Another menu phone is the Animal Crossing New Horizons Nook phone. This phone is unfortunately around 90% menu and only 10% phone. Like you can say the map, chat log, and the pseudo 911 call technically counts as normal phone features, but you can't call people or text them in the phone, and every other menu feature is just a game mechanic that would have been done elsewhere in previous Animal Crossing games. But two features make this phone perfect and removes all my complaints, making the Nook phone instantly the most accurate to life phone imaginable. Being able to change your phone case is never before seen in-game phone technology, allowing anyone, including me, to be narcissistic at any time. And the Nook Miles daily quest system, which perfectly imitates mobile game dailies, instantly addicting all the cozy game enjoyers who haven't built up a tolerance to predative game practices, nor know what microtransactions are. The next menu phone to discuss is the Cyberpunk 2077 phone, which is honestly 100% phone, 0% menu, with it only able to make calls and texts. But since it's not a physical phone but a cybernetic interface, it definitely counts as a menu, but then you can argue it's not a phone because of that, but you open it with a phone icon, so we are going to count it. This phone is really sad because after the game is done, majority of the calls will just bounce. Granted, there are a good bit of them that don't, but a lot of the conversations had feel like hollow small talk. Besides, of course, this one lady named Wakago that tells you about her 5 husbands and 9 sons. Obviously, some characters won't pick up due to story reasons, but it's a little sad how empty this phone feels after a playthrough filling it with names. Granted, this is a problem in most games with phones, but not having any distraction apps on the phone in Cyberpunk amplifies that empty feeling. And the last menu phone I will talk about is the phone in Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, and Bomb Rush's phone is a flip phone. This doesn't really change its function compared to other games though, but it comes with a game on the phone. The game is Micro Boy, and it's a 2D subway surfers with you avoiding bombs and collecting coins. It's nothing special, but the fact it was included in the first place adds to the phone's realism that much more. And the only standard feature in Bomb Rush's phone that would be missing is the calling function, but since there's no voice acting, it's a non-issue. Though Bomb Rush goes above and beyond with a music app that allows the player to change the songs they've collected while flowing through the map, and while you might say GTA and Cyberpunk has that feature, they're not in the phone, and this is a phone video, you IDOT. Item phones are those phones that call themselves phones, but only have pseudo-phone functionality and usually hone into singular, minuscule, or major phone features and exaggerate them so much that it becomes the only use of the device in-game. For instance, let's break down the Terraria cell phone. The feature it hones in on is how phones give us access to the internet, which can give us almost any bit of information you could ever need, and the Terraria phone exaggerates that by combining every information item in the game into one single item. It can also teleport you, but I guess it's just exaggerating how calling an Uber is kind of like teleporting, especially if you smoke enough marijuana to pass the time in the Uber, like MatPat said in that one Metal Gear Solid 5 video 10 years ago. The next phone is in Streets of Rogue, which is Peeg, and it has the friend phone. This item exaggerates that one time you called your friends to make plans to meet up and hang out, but in Streets of Rogue, phoning your friends leads them to instantaneously appearing at your side. Streets of Rogue also exaggerates the friend part because when standing still for a while, no one you called even tries to talk to each other, kind of like an awkward meetup with family that you barely know. Weirdly enough, another item phone is in Valorant, which I can only assume is exaggerating those Fisher-Price phones because its only purpose other than pushing the side button on it is I think to annoy your teammates with it by asking why the reception is so bad on the maps. I can't get any reception here, bro.
This doesn't work!
Where's the highest point on this map? I'm trying to get reception.
Probably get better reception when you're dead.
I mean, if you just like would tell me where to get reception, bro, I'm trying to like call my arms dealer, bro. I can't get any guns.
Yo, I mean, can you take a picture of me? Look, that's me right there in the picture.
I would take a picture of you, but I don't got reception.
You don't need reception to take a picture.
You get off of work and just do this, or you get the best reception once you die.
I'll get these difficulties sorted out by next game, my bad.
Hey, you're getting blocked.
And our last item phone to discuss is an improvised explosive device, or an IED, which exaggerates being able to use a phone as a bomb detonator, which isn't actually an exaggeration. Originally, I was only going to have Gmod footage for these, but my homie showed me one in Squad as well, which is an example of a game and not a mod having one of these. And yeah, GTA had one of these, but you used the menu phone to do it, so it didn't count as an item phone, and this is a run-on sentence, and yeah, next section. Now for our last category, your phone. This is for all the times your phone became the game. I mean, for all the times your phone was in the game. So firstly, a bunch of games had phone numbers in-game that when called on your real phone, the game would actually pick up the number and have either unique voice lines, messages, or secrets. This means that your phone connected to an in-game phone number, which means your phone is canonically in all these games. Though since I learned all these games had callable numbers from a Watch Mojo video, I don't think I have the right to expound on this part further. Next is Fallout 4, which allowed you to turn your own phone into the Pip-Boy that you find at the beginning of the game using the Pip-Boy app. This feature was conceived by them wanting the special edition of the game's real-life Pip-Boy pack-in to be functional, and it succeeded perfectly, as long as you forget that it wasn't able to fit any of the bigger phones that were out at the time, and it was just a big chunk of plastic. Though, even without the plastic, it was awesome to use the app standalone, giving you a whole second screen solely for your inventory. As you can see, we are magically changing radio channels and clothes without using the Pip-Boy in-game. However, while the app is perfectly usable on iPhone, it's now not possible to on Android unless you follow this guide I just made to work around Android's updated SDK. And for our last two, which are honorable mentions for this category, are Jackbox, which does fit perfectly, but it feels off mentioning it for some reason. And secondly, those mobile games that have your phone pop up on screen telling you to turn the phone to landscape for the game to work, which, if you look closely at the phone that's spinning, it clearly is your phone. And that was every type of phone that exists in video games. Yeah, I might have missed some features each phone type could have, but I bet most phones fit into these categories. But that's the end of this video. I got my first YouTube member, Luca. Thank you, homie. Thank you for thinking my content was worth $1. And if you enjoyed the video, you know what to do.